let's get on to story number one. And I've seen all the names coming up, and I'm gonna have to say that Tarek's story probably won out there, yeah? So Tarek Zahed, I grew up with Abdul and Omar Zahed. Oh, you love your friends. What? You look like a whale, bro. Open the vault. my love and respects to you. Yeah, so I grew up with Omar and Abdul Zahed. We came through Juvie together. Abdul Zahed is my brother's age, 2 and 2 heat, and I'm Omar's age. And Omar Zahed is obviously the Muslim brother that passed away after the shooting at Body Fit. You know, it was pretty sad because both brothers didn't deserve that, you know. And Hampton, appreciate you, thank you very much. And Philo, appreciate you. But it was what happens. It's what happens when you're involved in gang life, you know. Like I told you a million times, like to each and every one of you youngsters out there, it doesn't matter if you're not involved in a situation, yeah. It doesn't matter if if you're just hanging around because that's your cousin or that's your childhood friend. Blah, blah, thank you very much. Or if that's a teammate or whatever. If you know that person is gang related, just remember, whoever's gonna be that person's ops, there's no stopping the inevitable. You know, like this is why I stress to each and every one of you youngsters out there that's thinking quick money is a good thing. Hey, who am I to talk? I was doing the same thing. So just remember, I'm not here trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to be a role model. I'm just telling my story, you know. And for all you idiots that keep bridging up about saying stop friggin' naming names. Remember what I told you last week? That everyone on social media that says I don't name names, guess what? Every single one of them are now naming names. You know why? Because everyone that was watching me and inboxing me in the last week has been calling me a trendsetter. I'm the one that started on Threads, and everyone got on Threads. I'm the one that was walking around with my missus, and obviously it's sincere from my heart. I love my missus, so I'm always videoing ourselves and having fun on social media. Now guess what? Everyone else is doing it. You know? And this is not a thing. I didn't know what the meaning of trendsetter was. You know, I had a team who explained it to me. And then I started doing food reviews with my missus, which is something that's always been on social media, but it's not a thing for gangsters to do it, yeah? And then now, like, these naming names things. Daniel, thank you very much. Like, everyone was freaking on my ass about naming names, and I was like, shut the... Hello, dude. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Woo! Anyway, it's not a thing where I was trying to... name names to be a hard guy. I told you all from get-go. If I name names, it's because I was either a part of that situation, I know these people, or I was in and amongst those things that happened, yeah? And I explained it thoroughly to you guys last week. Everyone who's saying I don't know names, like as soon as my social media started blowing up, now everyone's naming names, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, if you name a name, that person can corroborate what you say. You know what I mean? And a lot of people who don't name names, yeah, like they're old school where they're like, I don't name names because either I'm not a snitch or I don't want to tell that story just in case it might incriminate someone. So the stories I tell have already happened. It's already finished. It's already done and dusted. No one can be charged for anything. And it's stories that either my stories or stories that I've been around, you know? And like I said, when you name, or when those people tell stories and they just say, oh yeah, and this bloke that I laid out, or this gang that we went to war with, but they don't say it because it never happened. You know what I mean? And they don't want you to backtrack their facts. You know what I mean? But with me, I explain it thoroughly, and then whatever names I'm outing here on social media, you can go them and ask them if my stories are true. This is why I say it, because everything I say is facts, yeah? And because it's live, obviously I'll trip up from time to time, but I will never ever say something that will incriminate another person, you know? So there's nothing wrong with naming a name if the situation's done and dusted, you know? And I'm not naming names because I want to be known as the wannabe guy that was with the big gangster guy. No. It's a situation, it's a story that the youngsters can learn from. Have a think about it, yeah? If a youngster goes and sits, Lelo, thank you very much. If a youngster goes and sits with a psychologist, and a psychologist is telling him how to live his life, don't forget, this psychologist has never been through anything that he's been through. These people who do courses like stress management and anger management have never gone through what these kids have gone through. So when they're talking to them, yes, they give them wise advice. But at the same time, these kids are going to be like, you know what I mean? Listen to your rubbish, get out of here. You, thank you very much. Jezza, thank you very much. And that's my thing. These kids that are going through all this stuff right now, I've been there. I've done it, you know. I've been to the lowest where I've slept on trains. You know, I've slept out in the bush with the boys because we didn't have enough money for the hotel. This is when we were kids, you know. Driving around in stolen cars, yeah, where I got me and the boys got charged. Having 15 guys in a van, kids in a van. This is me when I was young, yeah, like 14 years old, traveling to get somewhere so we can make some money. Like, this is what I'm talking about. These kids, this is what they're going through right now. So they don't want to listen to all this jargon from guys who can't prove where they've been or what they've done, or to all these people who are starting up courses around Australia, and the only thing they can do is tell you how good they are, or tell you how much church changed them to be a better man. But they've never actually been through what these kids have been through, you know, alcoholic parents, drug addicted parents, you know, or no parents at all. Like, these are the types of things these kids are going through now. Like, as you guys know, this is the era of technology, yeah? So you can't hide from your kids either. If you have a criminal record, or if you've done something stupid in the past, your kids are just gonna friggin' get on YouTube or Google you, and that's it. Your kids are gonna know everything about you. And this is what I'm saying. When they Google me, or when they get on TikTok or Instagram and research me, they're gonna know, oh shit, you know what? This guy's actually worth watching, because all the media and everyone that's talking about him, fuck, you know, he seems real. I'll give him a go. You know what I mean? I'm not here trying to be a gangster or trying to be a hard guy. I'm here just to tell my story. So my story with the Zahed brothers is I grew up with them in juvie, as you all know, and then me and Tarek Zahed became close friends in 2002. Yeah, that's when I first met him, and he was religious at the time. I had nothing to do with gang-related stuff. But let me tell you something. A lot of people see Tarek on the media, and the first thing that pops up is the patch over his eye. Like, it's a shit go what the media put on there. But hey, again, this is the life you live. This is how you're going to be portrayed on the media. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of things that happen on the media, and a lot of things that get put on social media, a lot of it is from police. Like, they're the ones who dictate how things go. You know, you got guys from the Telegraph, they get their stories from the police. So they only know the version that the police give them, yeah? And then it doesn't matter if you beat the charge or if they find you innocent, because that story is never going to come out on the media. The only story that's going to come out is the police's story, where you're the worst of the worst. You know what I mean? And so I felt bad for Tarek when he came in. Like, if you guys know the situation, he flew in from Melbourne. I don't know where he was going yet, but they followed him in the car, and then Task Force Raptor jumped on him, yeah? And they beat him up, you know? Mari, thank you very much. And I didn't understand that. Like, bro, the bloke's got one eye, the bloke's limping around, he can't hurt anyone, you know, like, yeah, he's a bikie, or he was a bikie, but Chad, thank you very much. But at the end of the day, the guy is half crippled, you know. You just saw the bloke get shot 10 times, you know, and you set him up like that. See, all of you are listening to me talk here, but you aren't understanding what happened that day when he got jumped. Do you guys realize that Tarek, when he flew in, could have got grabbed at the airport, you know? And yeah, like someone's writing here, Tarek's still trying to be a gangster. Look, I don't know about that, and I'm not talking about that. All I'm saying is the situation, you know, of that I went through as kids with his brothers, and then obviously my relationship with him. So this is my story mixed in with their story, because obviously I know a lot about it. But they could have grabbed him at the airport, but no, they didn't. They had to make a big scene, and it's beyond me how the guy's not getting any compensation claim. Tanya, thank you very much, love ya. And it's beyond me how he didn't get no compensation claim for that, or maybe the brother Flame, thank you. Maybe the brother doesn't care about compensation claim, but this is the same thing with my brother 212 Heat. If you guys saw the incident with me at the airport, Tanya, thank you very much. I got upset, and then obviously I attacked the cameraman, and I fought with the police officers. But with my brother, they set it up. How do you think that police get this type of footage where big arrests happen? It's because they call the media, set up the cameras first before they make this big bust or before they hit someone. And if it comes out, AKL, thank you, Tanya, love you, thank you. And if it comes out that the bloke was innocent, at the end of the day, the police are going to say this: we had reasonable reason to search them, or we had reasonable reason to pull them over and flip their car inside out. Yeah. So my thing is that's not an issue. You know, like there's the right way of doing things, and then the police, there's their way of doing it. You know, and majority of police will do their job to the best of their ability and do it the right way. But then you got the police who have power, where they can use force. And this is what they call excessive force, yeah? And this is what's happening now to the kids. Like, instead of police rolling up and talking to them, like back in the 90s when I was growing up, how are you kids? You know, are you staying out of trouble? You know, if you guys don't have somewhere to stay, come, we can take you to this place where we can help you. They're not trying to help the kids, yeah? Like, I'm not trying to belittle the police. There's a lot of police out there who are always trying to help the kids. But majority are using their power, you know, to harass these kids. And yeah, like at the end of the day, Tarek's the gangster, and it is what it is, you know. Like, use your force. You know, that's what you got given power to use force, and they used it, you know. But there was no need for it. The bloke was freaking half crippled, and they jumped all over him. Not even they jumped. The bloke was pissing out blood, you know. I was in Silverwater on the day that Tarek walked in, all effed up, yeah? And I was like, seriously, what happened to you? And he goes, bro, they freaking jumped me. I said, what? And he goes, yeah, bro, they're kicking the hell out of me for no reason, you know? Tanya, thank you very much. So that's an incident that occurred, but the big incident that we're talking about, JMA, appreciate you. The big incident that we're talking about is the incident with at the gym, yeah? But I think before we get to the gym incident, which is the big incident with the Zahed brothers, I'll explain to you guys, JMA, Lynn, thank you very much. Explain to you guys about Abdul and Omar as we grew up. They had a little crew. It was Abdul, Omar Zahed, and Sabah. Sabah Cruz was the one that got at Bankstown. AJ, appreciate you. And that was a sad story too, because I was also with him in juvie. But there's a big story behind it, which is none of my business, and which is something that I won't talk about. But the guy that actually did it to Saba, we were all in juvie together, you know, and both of them were good guys. And and hearing about that this is something that you youngsters need to know. Smith, thank you. Like these guys were friends as kids, like Saba and this guy, yeah. And then years later, the friendship broke out, and then this ended up happening. Saba, the bro, had kids and a missus, and they left without a partner, and the kids are left without a father, you know. And this is what happens when you involve yourself in this type of stuff. I told you before, being a gangster is not cool. Being involved in gangs, you know, it's a rubbish life, you know. Like, I'm not here trying to glamorize being a gangster. I'm here telling you guys my story because it was an ugly life, you know. Yeah, everyone's there for all the good times, you know. When you're partying and making money, everyone's like, yeah boy, that's what we do. But as soon as consequences hit, which they always do when you're living this type of life, everyone just disappears. Your closest mates, those that call you brothers, you know. And I've heard the girls inside prison talk, you know, sister, where were you? Huh? You want to come inside prison now like a sick bitch? Where were you when I got arrested? We did everything together and then you disappeared on me. These are stuff that I used to hear from the girls' prison, because sometimes we mix at court and you can hear them talking, you know. So as I grew up with Omar and Abdul Zahed, Abdul was more like the violent one, and Omar was more like the business type. He knew how to be a gentleman, you know. And the last time I saw him before the incident at the at Body Fit, where they got heavily shot at, he actually went religious. So I didn't really understand what that was over. I don't want to understand. I don't care about it. I'm just explaining this story, you know, because it was a sad story. Like these brothers, they have mums, you know. They have a mum. They have sisters, and they also have kids, you know. But the grief is not coming from the brotherhood, you know. Like everything that they have been through in life, their mum has been there, their sister has been there. I was there when their sisters used to visit them in juvie a lot, you know. And it's something that that I was thinking about after the incident, you know, because it was a big hit in Australia. And obviously there's been some big hits in Australia, but the gang that Tarek is in, you know, they were known for going to this gym. So obviously everybody knew where Tarek was, and Tarek never hid from anyone because to him he had no issues with anyone. So he would do his daily routine, and part of his routine was to go to the gym with his brother, you know. And they didn't know that guys were gonna run up on them and start offloading, you know. And there was a story that someone was saying where Tarek was like lying there and he was laughing, you know. And I was like shocked until I saw the video footage, and I was like, oh wow, you know, like bro, this guy's a machine. And for those of you like that want to mock these brothers or mock Tarek, you know, saying that you know, the consequences caught up with you, like, bro, do you? My thing is, when he first came into the scene of being bikie related, but I have to say it, before that he was already a tough guy, you know. He didn't need to be in a gang. The bloke, when I first met him, he was pretty much a one-man gang, you know. Like he was different from his brothers Omar and Zahed. He was much more smarter, obviously because he's the older brother, and his words carried a lot of weight when it came to the Muslim boys. You know, they all loved him, and not only did they listen to him, but they took what he said in, you know, just like the other boys, like the Kalachis and that. This is how they were, but they're all the old school boys, you know. Like I really think that that incident, like someone just said before, should have changed Tarek, and I don't know what he's going through now. All I know is I was locked up with him in Supermax just last year. Like I think it was oh no, sorry, it was this year. I was with Tarek before he went home, and he said that he was out of the bikie gang, and like, mate, you can be out of a gang and you can still say hi to your friends. Like, there's not an issue with that. But obviously, like everyone still thinks that he's still a part of it and he's still doing what he needs to do, you know. And I think the big picture out of this, for all you youngsters out there, is the fact that, you know, these three brothers were very close-knit brothers. They do everything together, and then they lost one of their brothers who actually went religious, and that was because two of them were still involved in the life, you know what I mean? And yeah, it may have been a mistake when these two, when the brothers got shot at the gym, but this is what happens when you live this life, youngsters. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. At the end of the day, when guys are coming, they're gonna have what they have in their head. They're not gonna think, you know what, maybe let's think about it, because maybe he's right. You know, maybe he didn't do that, or maybe he wasn't involved in that, you know? And that's where it comes down to. There's no ifs or buts. When they're coming, and they're coming straight. So there was an incident in Supermax that happened here, where, I don't know if you guys all saw, Tarek and Bass Hemsey accidentally got put into the same yard. All right. Let me tell you something. Before this incident happened, there was big dramas from Bass's side. All right, not from Tarek's side, from Bass's side. So Bass had assumed that his brother, who'd also been that Tarek knew about it, yeah, or was involved in it. And Tarek, being the man he is, like, he stood his ground and he said to Bass, he goes, bro, he goes, wallah, here, I had nothing to do with it. I don't even know why you're talking like that when I go and see your mum, you know. Very sincere. I'm not saying this because I heard it. Remember, guys, I was in Supermax and I was in the yard, opposite them, doing my own thing, you know. And you can't hide your conversation in Supermax. Murray, thank you very much, love ya. The walls are so thin that you can hear everything, you know. And Bass was accusing Tarek of this, accusing him of that. Green, thank you. But Tarek stood his ground, yeah. And mind you, he's standing his ground, but he's vulnerable. The worst thing in prison, Brandon, thank you. The worst thing is prison. Nick, thank you. Is to be down and out when it comes to your body, your health, you know, because you can deal with all the dramas and all that from time to time, especially if you had good brothers around you. But if you're sick, or if you're crippled, or if your arm is effed, or if your lower back is effed up, mate, you're going to have the worst time in prison, you know, like, until it's fixed up, you're going to be doing time hard. And Tarek, he was putting up with all that stuff, you know, especially to the worst of the worst people inside prison are these nurses, yeah. I cannot stop talking rubbish about these nurses because I've seen it with my own eyes. Green, thank you very much. These nurses, they can help, but they're too scared of the officers. Bobby, thank you, my man. They're too scared of the officers to go above and beyond for the criminals. And a lot of nurses, the good nurses that I've seen who go above and beyond for the inmates, they get reprimanded, they get told off by officers. I've been there when the officers full going off at nurses, you know, and I was thinking, far out, we just lost a good nurse now just because this screw's being a hater, you know. Thank you very much. Anyway, when the argument was going on with Bass and Tarek, it was a big thing because everybody was wondering, what's going to happen, you know? And they were trying to get an association, meaning they'll meet. What's up? Thank you. And it didn't get approved. All right. Now let me tell you or something. You've all been seeing these footages, Chase. Appreciate you. You've all been seeing these footages that have been coming out on social media about different fights. Bobby, appreciate you. And brawls that have been happening in prison. Yeah. How do you think these footages are making out there? Guess what? They're not being leaked, yeah? Either the police officers are asking for it so they could leak it, or the prisons hate these inmates so much so they release it, all right? The media can ask for the footage all they want, but the jail can tell them, like, get stuff, yeah? But this is what happens, like, you go to court, hey, appreciate you. You go to court and and you do what you got to do to get these footages, and they'll always say no. So I always laugh because a lot of the footage that comes out is on Bass Hemsey, and the reason why they always release this footage is because they hate Bass. You know, the police, the screws, like everyone that you know, that's what's called. That's a part of all these criminal stuff. Or when I'm talking about criminal stuff, I'm talking about people that take care of criminals, not criminals themselves. They all don't like Bass, not just because he's a smart ass thing, but because he's smart. You know, this guy he tells it how it is. You know, and he's very good at his court cases. He always takes things to court, and he's won a lot of court cases, and they've changed laws because of Bass, you know. Anyway, bro, what are you fucking doing? Oh, shit. Appreciate you, Wuhab. I don't know. Anyway, with the situation with Bass and Tarek inside, there was a lot of whispers, and until the day that it came where they were face to face, and that doesn't happen in Supermax. It's not supposed to happen in Supermax because they're not supposed to make mistakes in Supermax. For example, like mobile phones going into Supermax, that never should happen, but it happened, yeah? Supermax is supposed to be the worst of the worst prison in Australia, yeah? And guess what? They don't make mistakes. But that day, when them two ended up in the yard together, this is something that I believe myself was a setup, all right? They wanted to see if something would happen, and you know, like these two boys ended up in the same yard, and there was a lot of chatter from Bass saying that he believes Tarek was involved in this and that, and that he said that he was gonna friggin' offer Tarek out, you know, and he did. When they were in the yard together, guess what? It was a shock to the both of them that they ended up together, but no one made a move. They both stood there, yeah? No one cheap-shotted each other. I really appreciate you. They both stood there looking at each other, and then Bass pretty much brought it up, you know, like, bro, 110%. If you're saying you had nothing to do with it, Abdi, I really appreciate you. You're saying you had nothing to do with it, all good, but 110% you knew about it. You knew that something was going to happen to my brother Timothy. Marie, appreciate you, you know. And Bass, sorry, and I give it to Tarek. He just copped it all on the chin, yeah, like a man, you know. And he let Bass vent and get his frustration out. Obviously, the Bass only appreciate you. Obviously, Bass loved his family very much, so he's gonna go hard for his family, you know. But Tarek, you know, he took that little breath and then he spoke, you know. He goes, bro, believe what you want to believe, man. He goes, I'm telling you, if I had known something was gonna happen from my side, I would have stopped it, you know. Look, I can't send you messages and stuff. You're in Supermax, number one, and number two, I'm not gonna go try to negotiate something if I don't know about it, yeah. He goes, so I'm telling you, I did not know about it. And then pretty much Bash was like throwing his weight around and saying, bro, I'm telling ya, you freaking knew about it, this or that. You guys know how Lebos go when they're in each other's faces, yeah? But Tarek wasn't in his face, it was Bash that was like going off, yeah? And Tarek pretty much stayed calm, and then he just clicked it. For those of you who don't know, Tarek, he's also got a very bad temper. Dito, appreciate you. And then he just like clicked it and at Bass, and he said, bro, I've got one eye, I'm limping. He goes, you want to do something? Then do it now. Go ahead, do it, like that. And Bass stood there, and I'll give it to Bass. He appreciated the fact that Tarek was a man, you know, like he didn't back down. He stood there and he said, like, come, you know. And then pretty much Bass goes, bro, get out of here. Like, you got one eye, one leg. I'm not gonna fight you, bro. I'll look like a freaking weak cunt if I attack you, you know. And Tarek was like, bro, I don't care. Like, I'm here. I do appreciate you. I'm here. Do what needs to be done, you know. And Bass let it go. And before they could even chat some more, the screws come running in, and they're like, oh, you're not supposed to be together. And I was like, when I saw the footage and I spoke to Tarek afterwards, like, mate, that was the biggest setup. They put them two in there. Like, let me tell you something. I was in Supermax for a long time, yeah? They don't make these mistakes, yeah? And the only reason why a mistake like this would happen is if the inmates intentionally go out of their way to try to lie. Like, for example, miss, I'm supposed to be with Pete. Like that. And then these new officers will make the mistake of like putting me together with someone else. This is how mistakes happen. But for them themselves, they don't make mistakes. So for this situation to occur in Supermax, was like a big breach, yeah? Putting these two boys together, especially when they knew full well, Leo, appreciate you, Batman, appreciate you. When they knew full well that there was gonna be war if these two were put together, you know? And it wasn't gonna be from Tarek, because he was calm, you know, and collected the whole time. It was Bass, he was like running his mouth and going off, you know? Abdi, Sufan, Leo, appreciate you. And so when they got split, Tarek ended up coming to Supermax 2. Supermax 2 is, man, Marie, appreciate you. Supermax 2 is where you go when you're about to reintegrate back into the main, yeah? And guess what? He ends up in Supermax 2. Bass is still in Supermax 1. And then Bass starts telling everyone that he offered out Tarek and he put it on Tarek, and Tarek shit his pants and didn't want to fight him. And everyone in Supermax knew it wasn't true. Tommy, appreciate you. Everyone in Supermax knew it wasn't true because everyone heard the conversation, you know what I mean? And everyone that I spoke to that was closer to the situation when it was occurring, because some yards are far away, you know, so you can't really see, but everyone can hear. And everyone said the same thing that Tarek said, you know, like the Bass did go off, Bass did bridge up, but nothing happened. He didn't offer Tarek out. He was just going off, accusing him of having something to do with his brother's death, you know. But Tarek, like a man, you know, he said, here, I'm here, do what needs to be done. I'm here now in front of you. 29Q, appreciate you. But let me tell you something, like, if I was thinking that someone had something to do with my brother's death, like, bro, I'm the type that will bring action straight away, you know. So I thought that was what Bass was going to do, because he actually said that he was going to do something about all this situation if Tarek ended up at Supermax. And we all knew Tarek was coming to Supermax, you know. And there you go. They were in the yard together and he did nothing. But I'm not taking that away from Bass. Like, he did look at Tarek and see that he was crippled and he wouldn't have been able to defend himself. Like, obviously he's a strong guy, so he would have tried. And mind you, like, Tarek's not a pussy, you know. But at the end of the day, everybody knows that Bass would have come out on top because his whole body's functioning and he can move and shake 10 times better than Tarek is. But Tarek stood his ground and he said, it is what it is, you know. Cut and fast forward, yeah. Tarek is out now, he's doing his thing, and everyone, all the shababs on the inside, like the Muslim boys, are like wondering whether he's gonna, stick to what he said and change his life. Like, Tarek's not the type of person to tell you he's trying to be a role model or trying to change his life. Like, he lives his life the way he wants to live. But for all of you who know this story about Tarek Zahed and Omar Zahed, the Ulishay at the gym, all of you know how bad it was, yeah? And apparently some of his family members were there as well when this happened to the two brothers. And this is what I'm saying, like, Abdi, is that well, I appreciate you. To all you younger generation out there, you live this life, this is the rubbish that you have to go through, It's not about you when you're gangstering on. It's not about you when you're inside prison. It's about those who are suffering because of what you're doing, yeah? Omar Zahed had gone religious, and then look what happened, Allah had other plans for him, his life was taken, and from what the Muslims believe, like, when it's your time, it's your time. But I guess Christians believe the same thing, Moving along is one of the worst that he's ever seen in the last 30 years. Caps and Shanks, they both got charged for it, and they got extra time for it, yeah? Murray, I appreciate you, Murray. And this is what you youngsters need to realize as well. When you're inside prison and you want to run amok and you want to do things to show that you're a gangster, mate, you will get extra time for it, And the charges that you get will get you knocked back on parole time and time again. So you guys all remember the 10 years that I served, yeah? I wasn't supposed to serve 10 years. I was only supposed to serve 7.5 years. The reason why I served 10 years was because of all the rubbish that I was doing, Even my first lagging before that, I was only supposed to serve 2.5 years. I ended up doing 3.5 years, all because I wanted to be a hard guy and be a gangster. Ethan, appreciate you. Razor, love ya. So this is where we're at right now. Like, S2F have now cracked their pants, and they refused to fight 2 BLs. There was only 2 BL boys here, yeah? And then when the officers took S2F out, there was 3 guys who were not known as S2F. They were still in the yard. And when the BL boys were there, they had the numbers, and these 3 S2F guys were still there. And then one of our boys, who's one of the heavyweights of our boys, we nicknamed him Hulk, yeah? Tala Semu. He's like me and my brother 212 Heat. He doesn't care about having numbers, he'll go on with it on his own. So when he saw these S2F guys, obviously he had to clean the yard up, because now the yard was BL yard, yeah? And instead of doing what these flops always do, like OC and that, where they jump you because they got the numbers being hard guys, Tala told the boys to stay away, and he walked over to the S2F guys and he goes, look, you're not going to get jumped. We're not like that. Like us BL boys, we can stand on our 2 feet. So I'm going to tell you once, I'm not going to tell you again. If you want to stay in this yard, you have to have a one-on-one with me, and it's going to be a fair one-on-one. And if you come out on top, you can walk the yard, and we will take you under our wing. You won't have to worry about no issues whatsoever. And if you lose, you have to go. You have to leave the yard. Guess what happened? All 3 of these S2F guys, the next morning, refused to come out of their cell. So all 3 of them bailed. And these are stories that we know of that they've been out. James, appreciate you, James Moran. And the reason why it's not known is because our guys don't go around telling everyone about it. The reason why I'm explaining this to you guys is so the younger generation can understand that this is prison life and this is real gang life, This is what you have to put up with, is real gangsters, You just live the gang life, but you haven't never met real gangsters. And for those of you youngsters who are running around doing these right now, yeah, of course, like, I can sit here and call you a gangster because you've gone on with it, done it? But I can also say you're very stupid because you didn't think of the consequences, yeah? Trust me, You're gonna be freaking inside a cell with another criminal, yeah? Who's shitting right there while you're sitting a meter away from him doing these ones. That's what you're gonna be putting up with, you know? And when you're eating your food that your parents supplied with their hard-earned money, when they sending it to you every week, $100, and your cellmate hasn't got any food, you have to share, you know? And then if you don't share, boys start getting dirty, like thinking in their head, oh, this guy's got a problem. These are the little dramas. Remember the crap that was happening last week when I was telling you about brawl after brawl? All these brawls and all these dramas that happened during the racial wars with myself all started from a cordial bottle, you know, a little issue with a cordial bottle. That's what I'm saying to you guys. Like, when BL took over the yard, and S2F got kicked out, the yard was now peaceful again. Any islander that came to the yard that were taken care of, shoes, food, whatever they needed, yeah? Listen to this. There is a guy, all right. He's very well known, AJ, from Wollongong. Everyone calls him Doc. He's Tongan. He was charged for shooting at police officers, and he was charged for many crimes throughout his life. And I first met him in 2002 when I saw him lay out one of these Aussie boys who was bridging up throughout the night, yelling and swearing throughout the window, yeah? Anyway, the reason why I'm gonna end this this live with this story is because all the freaking little haters that were trying to talk rubbish about me, saying that I went to the boneyard at Bathurst and I was a dog. Obviously now everybody knows that I was never a dog because I was the only person that got charged during that 2016 incident, and I was the only person that went to trial. And obviously paperwork showed that, and the paperwork that they supplied was all rubbish because on there I never mentioned one name. And then you got 9 to 5 guys who are looking at it and then they start talking rubbish, but they don't even understand legal paperwork. And so this is how these youngsters are, you know, like they have an older guy that they look up to, but they don't know his background, all right? And let me tell you all about Doc. This guy right now, he hasn't got long until he goes home, all right? He should be home in a couple of months or maybe 6 months, something like that, all right? But let me tell you all about Doc. He's got Tua, Ethan, he's got all these Tongan boys, young Tongan boys, how do I put it? What's the word? He's got them all under their thumb, yeah? AJ, appreciate ya. They all think that Doc is one of the baddest gangsters in prison. The way he carries himself, he's always like throwing his weight around. And he's got a really deep voice. That's how he talks, you know? And these youngsters, they started listening to what this guy said. Paul, appreciate you. And everyone knows this guy, Doc's name, because obviously the issue between him and the police, yeah? And yeah, I can honestly say the bloke is a gangster. I've seen him throughout my whole time in prison, and yeah, he did go on with it. And what happened with him and the police, he didn't hesitate, you know? But the reason I'm explaining this situation to you guys is because when this rumor went around about me saying that I was a dog and I went to the boneyard, I found out that this rumor started from Doc, all right? Now remember, none of these youngsters know this old school Doc guy's background, all right? They all just think that he's this tough guy from back in the days that ran with the Islander boys, all right? But let me tell you Doc's background. This is Doc's background, yeah? 2002, I came in, I got to Park Lee. So 2001, I got to Silverwater. 2002, I hit Park Lee. And Doc was there. And yeah, obviously he was a heavyweight for the Tongan boys. And there was a lot of drama going, wow, appreciate you, my man. There was a lot of dramas going on back there with the racial wars, yeah? And so, fast forward past the racial wars, I ended up with Doc again at Goulburn prison, yeah? Now, there's a story that I'm going to tell in about 2-3 weeks, and it's a story of Oscar Tafahima, where he got bladed from the Māori boys, yeah? This one's going to be a big story for you guys because everybody knows the Tafahima brothers. But no one actually knows the real story of what happened in the showers that day. But guess what? I was there that day when it happened. I didn't hear about it. I was actually there when the dramas broke out with Oscar Tafahima and Baz Kavanagh, the Māori boys, and had made their move, you know. And anyway, that's a story for in a couple of weeks that's coming. But the reason why I'm bringing up this is because of Doc. So remember, he started this rumor, yeah? But nobody knows his background. So what happened after the situation with Oscar and the Māori boys where they had gone to town on him, and bro, he did well. Like, I'll explain it all in a couple of weeks, yeah? So, yeah, well, appreciate ya. What's his name? Doc went to Park Lee prison, and that's where Cube was. His name's John Tafahima, nicknamed Cube, yeah? That's Oscar Tafahima's brother. So he was at Park Lee. Now remember, I was in the showers when this drama broke out, yeah, and it was a big move from the Māori boys because the Tafahima brothers are known, what's called in the system as Islander boys that you don't mess with, you know. There's a lot of them, a lot of brothers, but these Māori boys, they got together and they conjured up a plan and they did what they did. So when Doc was there when it happened, but when Doc got to Park Lee, I don't know, for some reason, Chris, appreciate you. He had, I don't know, something against me, yeah? And then he went to John Tafahima and he told him, bro, you know, Pete, I reckon he was the one that organized for that to happen. And then he went and told another person. But Doc, being old school, Hancho, appreciate you, my man, he didn't realize that I'm very close with all the Tongan boys, especially the Tafahimas. I grew up with Philly and Boy, you know? And so when he went and said this at Park Lee, the rumors started getting around, and then all of a sudden, the boys sent a message. And I said to the boys, bro, do you hear about this rumor? And they go, what? I go, Doc's down there telling everyone that I'm the one that organized the hit on Oscar Tafahima. And then they're like, what? Seriously? I go, yeah. And I started telling the boys that I was with. I go, bro, what the hell? Slam, appreciate you, my man. I was thinking to myself, what's going on? Like, I had nothing to do with it. Like, I was in the shower when it happened, but I had nothing to do with it. Now my name's been thrown out there, and it was from Doc, yeah? I get a message back from all the Tongan boys telling me that he's the one that's saying it. So what do? I wait for friggin' Doc to come. And remember, Doc's old school. I'm not the type to turn on any old school boys, no matter how much wrong they do. Like, I suck it up unless they step on my toes, yeah? And obviously this guy stepped on my toes because now he was trying to get me got from the Tafahima brothers. Chris, Islam, lucky for me, I grew up with the Tafahima brothers. And so the message was sent to me like, hey, bro, we heard that about 1, 2, 3, you were involved. Oscar was the one that it happened to, so obviously he confirmed that I had nothing to do with it, yeah? And that I didn't get involved. So Doc comes back, and then I confront him, yeah, about what he said. Long story short, I make him take off his jacket and for us to have a one-on-one, yeah? And he ended up on the ground. I picked him up like a gentleman after he ended up on the ground. I put him on the chair and I told him, bro, you're old school. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You know, when you spread rumors like that, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Lucky for me, I'm close with the Tafahima brothers, and that's the message they sent back to me. All the Tongan boys sent a message back to all the Tafahima brothers explaining what I did to Doc, yeah? And then all the Tafahima brothers sent a message back to me saying, good on you also, like, bro, like, we'll kind of dirty knowing that you were there. We thought you were part of it because this is what Doc said. But now, after what you did to Doc, like, yeah, that's the Pete that we know, you know, you're not about jumping people because, yeah, Oscar got jumped that day, you know. This is a big story that I'm going to be telling in a couple of weeks because the jumping was nothing. It was the issues that happened outside of it that ended up coming together and causing all the friction between the boys. Because remember, old man Moses, who used to run it, no names, appreciate you. As soon as Moses left, Oscar Tapahemba was in charge, and then all of a sudden Baz Kavanagh wanted to be in charge, and yeah, it was just tit for tat. But I'll tell you all that story later. The point of this is Doc, yeah? So now that I've put 2 on his chin, I didn't stomp on him, I didn't do none of that stupid shit. Like he's old school, yeah? So respectfully, after I put 2 on his chin, I lifted him up, put him on the chair, asked him if he was alright. Gave him something to wipe his nose and all that, and then I explained to him why we had to fight, you know. I go, bro, you threw me under the bus, and lucky for me, the Tongan boys are my brothers, so they sent me the message, you know. True, appreciate you. And then he accepted it. I shook his hand on the spot, and we squashed it. Never heard nothing about this issue again until the drama with me and OC in 2016 that broke out, yeah? That drama that happened in 2016, as soon as it happened, they all ended up getting tipped to other prisons, and a lot of the OC guys ended up with Doc. And then S2F started, and then some gang called Heartless or something, they started, and they all ended up with Doc. And then Doc started telling this story, saying, yeah, Pico was in the boneyard, rah this, rah that. And when S2F were yelling at me at Clarence, when I got there, I was supposed to go into their wing, yeah? But because I was EHS, they said to me I had to go wait in Segro one day while they sorted an officer to take charge of me, because I was the first extreme high security inmate to go to Clarence. So they said, you're going to go in here for a day or two, wait here, and then you'll get put into this pod. This pod was S2F yard, yeah? They swore at me as I was walking past, and I was doing this, shh, like that. And I was like, love your boys, love ya. And I was handcuffed. But they kept swearing and swearing, and I was like, bro, why are you swearing at me? I'm coming to your yard. When I come into your yard, do what needs to be done to me, you know, all good. They kept swearing. I ended up in my cell, officers put me in there, and then I sent them a message through other inmates, and I said, boys, I'm approved to come to your wing. Keep your mouths shut when I walk past so that I may be able to come there. Then you guys can do whatever you want to do to me. Guess what? I walked past them to go to see the nurse, and again, started swearing at me. You kuli, you this, you that. I was like, wow, and I'm trying to tell them, I love your boys, I love your boys, I'll see you soon. And they just kept swearing and carrying on, you know, and ended up the governor started saying like, nah, I'm not gonna let Peter go into that wing. There's too much swearing going on, and I believe something's gonna happen, you know. And there's a guy, I forget his name, Sam, bro, I wish I remember his name, Lebanese guy, yeah. When the S2F guys were swearing and whatnot, I ended up going to Segro and staying there because like the officers didn't trust that there would be peace when I walk out. And this Lebanese guy yelled out to the S2F guys who were friends with you and said to them, boys, that's a shit go. Like, mate, if you have an issue with him, you should have sorted it when he come in there, not carry on like freaking monkeys. Like, now the bloke can't come in there. Like, you call yourself gangsters, you've got the numbers. Why didn't you just let the bloke come in there? He's carrying on in front of the screws. Now he can't come in there, you know? And I always kept wondering why these guys kept calling me dog. Like when the screws were walking me, the squad even whispered in my ear when they were carrying on. They go say, Pete, why are they calling you a dog for? And why are they saying you in protection? You want to be in protection? And I said, bro, there's a bloke named Doc. He's the one that started this rumor. I think he's still holding a grudge from when I put 2 on his chin, you know? There's nothing I can do about it. And so to all you gangbangers that are in S2F, Harless, OC, whatever you are, like, that's the real story of what happened on why Doc says what he said, yeah? And guess what? Not one of you guys know his background. You know, during the racial wars, Doc never backed up any of the islanders or any dramas. He always done his own thing. And guess what? Every Tongan, every Samoan, every Māori, every Fijian, every Cook Islander, all these main nationalities and the Māori boys that came into prison went hard for their nationality, yeah? Like for the islanders, just as every other nationality did, yeah? And guess what? Doc was the only Tongan who never stood with the islanders, yeah? Remember what I told you, at Bathurst and Lithgow prison, those prisons belong to the Aboriginal boys. You couldn't F with the Aboriginal boys at those prisons. Hey, every nationality that's being an influencer right now can talk it up all you want, right? The Kuri boys were running everything there back in the days. You know, yeah. There were situations where they lost, but majority of the time when you were over there, I really appreciate you's lost. You know, I'm not gonna rehash up any stories about the past. All I'm gonna say is, hey, I was a part of that era. The Kuri boys owned Lithgow and they owned Bathurst. You know, no one else. Yeah, and they made it clear the only nationality that's allowed to come into their prison were the Fijian boys and the Muslim boys, the Lebanese boys. You know, and Doc, for all you idiots out there that think he's a somebody, he was the only Tongan in Bathurst back during the racial wars. And guess what? Because he would rather stick to being a mutual with the Kuris and the Islanders rather than back the Islanders during the war. He wanted nothing to do with the dramas. So when he got there with all the Kuri boys, he told the Kuri boys, look, I'm from Wollongong. I grew up with Kuri boys, so I'm going to roll with yous. I don't want no issues with anyone. I have no issues with the Islanders, but I don't want no issues with you guys because I grew up with Kuri boys. This was his thing. He played the Kuri card so he could be safe in the Kuri jail, in a Kuri yard. Now, I appreciate you. So to all you idiots who are right now looking at him like he's some sort of don, that's the real story of Doc's background. I was there during all this rubbish, yeah? And he has never been a frontline soldier for the Tongans, let alone for the Islanders. All right? Love your niece. Appreciate you. And I did what I did to him because I would have copped it if I had let it go. You know, I was protecting myself and protecting anyone that came after me who's close to me. Because obviously inside prison, when something happens to one person, whoever's close to that person, there's going to be a ripple effect on each and every person that's close to with that guy, you know. Anyway, I hope and I pray that all you youngsters out there don't end up living the life that I lived. I hope you guys don't end up in any situations that I talk about. You know, all I want is for you guys to enjoy your lives and to do what needs to be done for your family. Remember, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Not at all. Right? Who the hell am I to talk? I'm not trying to be a role model. All I'm doing is telling these stories with the hope that you guys learn from it. To everyone out there who's been liking, mate, I'll give you nothing but my love and respect, you know. Honestly, I didn't expect to have all these people messaging me and showing me so much love, you know, like even though I have the 2 or 3 haters on the side that message through, I have realized, thanks to my team, Classic and Irish, you know, and also thanks to 2 other boys that I met up with yesterday, Wilster and James, they explained to me thoroughly that TikTok is a very ugly world, yeah, and a lot of inside shit happens that I don't know about. Obviously, I'm not part of this social media world. I've just come out and I've been thrust into it, yeah, and I didn't realize that when people message you on a fake page about another certain individual, for example, Spaniard, it could be someone else that's instigating it because they want you and that person to have issues. I didn't realize all this stuff, yeah? I was like, wow, this stuff is off his friggin' head. Whoa, all I can see from everyone is saying 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. I'm looking up and I was like, right, I love you, I swear. I have no words to express the way I feel when I receive messages from everyone. Like everyone is so supportive, so loving, and like I said, hey AJ, love you, appreciate you, shells. And like I said, I only put my head on show because I want the youngsters to understand and realize what they're getting themselves into. But there is no way I will ever sit here and tell the youngsters what to do, you know, or try to be a role model, because who the hell am I to tell them when I've been there and done it? You know what I mean? It's just, here's my story. God willing, you guys learn from it. Everyone that's been liking, everyone that's been sending through gifts, nothing but love and respects. It is what it is from trees. Yeah, boy, you know. I love you and have a good night.